Hello, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make videos for NBA, I make videos for NFL. All these videos, they get posted on this subreddit right here. It's called DF Sports with one S. I make updates with all the news that comes out throughout the day. Anything you need, you can reply to, or you can ask me questions about the slate. I'll always reply to you. Pretty much anything you need, I will be here up until lock and sometimes after lock. Ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can get a hold of me on Twitter right there. All right, let's get into my lineups from tonight. Tonight's slate, I had a lineup with Thibault over Kamara, so I made a little bit, broke even a little bit. Was fine. Um, Thibault lineup bubbled last minute because of the last John Morant assist. Unfortunate there, but this lineup did really well, so it was okay. This lineup was in first. I had it in the 50K. Oh, this is the 50K to first. Um, I had it. I was in first pretty much the entire night, and then Collins got injured. Yep. Not saying I would have won if he didn't get injured, but like nobody had him up here. Nobody. And what was I? 359. 230. What is that? It's 30 points. Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered. Wouldn't have mattered. But it would have been a nice finish. My lineup was a 2v2 off to optimal. So it was Zubac and Keldon versus Collins and. Um, Collins and. Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant was it. So got close. Unfortunate, but glad the Night Slate cashed. My core for Night Slate, it was, Scoot was a free square, Zach Collins free, Jeremy Grant was a core play for me, Malcolm Brogdon core play as well, Jabari Walker core play. So core smashed, but it was pretty straightforward core. And then my main slate lineup, I was debating a pivot, and the pivot was Cornette and Trae Young versus Jamal Murray and Paul Reed. I ended up I I was on the Trae Young one for so long, just so long. I don't know what I was thinking. I swapped last minute because I really liked Paul Reed, and I really liked Jamal Murray today. The Denver guys looked really good today. The Jamal side actually projected much better, or not much better, but decently better than the Cornet side. But I really like Trey today, and I should have stuck with my gut there. A little bit unfortunate, but not too mad there. My core today was Goga Patatse, Tobias Harris, D'Anthony Melton, Mikal Bridges. Rounded out my lineup with Paul Reed, Peyton Watson, Jamal Murray, and Derek White. Hope you guys had a good night tonight. A little bit of a losing night for me. Nothing too crazy because the night's late. But yeah, hope you guys had a great night. All right, let's get into the slate. So it's gonna be quick. Like spend like 5 minutes here. I gotta get to bed. Head is killing me. All right, Knicks at Pacers. Really good spot here for the Knicks. So Brunson, Randall, I really like both. I have a feeling Randall's going to be much more popular than Brunson tomorrow. I would say in a vacuum, I do think Randall is the better play going up against the Pacers. But if one's going to be more popular than the other, I think, in tournaments, you could make the argument to fade the one that's higher owned, right? Can you play both together on a small slate like this? Absolutely. I think you can. Both are going to lead the way offensively. Both are going to play huge minutes. Fast-paced matchup going up against the Pacers. So I have no issue if you want to play both together. I think it's completely fine on a short slate like this. Like I said, if we're not considering ownership, I think I do lean Randall to Brunson, but I think both are very solid plays even at their price point. RJ Barrett at 6K. They're going to go with the hot hand between them. You also saw Isaiah Hartenstein get into a bit of foul trouble tonight. RJ Barrett should play around 30 minutes. Does have a ceiling when he's hitting his shots. If I knew he played close to 40 minutes tomorrow and going up against the Pacers, though, I'd really like him. So like RJ for tournaments. Isaiah Hartenstein, as long as he stays out of foul trouble, should play all the minutes he can handle. That's a big if. I like the spot going up against the Pacers. So if he'll be under owned because of his foul trouble and performances of late, then yeah, I like him. I still think he's a solid play. Nobody wants to play him. Nothing really changed. He was giga chalk here. Gonna play all the minutes he can handle. So yeah, I like Hartenstein. If you look at the center position today, It's not great, man. It's not great. It's not great at all. I like Lively. I like Reed. I like Hartenstein. Then you have like, Drummond, who is another guy. Like, it's not that great. I mean, it's solid, I guess. But I think there are, I think he's a pretty good play. Actually, center's pretty loaded. I don't know what I was saying, but yeah, I like Hartenstein quite a bit. Josh Hart should play around 30 minutes off the bench. Stat sheet stuffer. Today just a basement performance. If you played him, I am so sorry. But she'll play around 30 minutes off the bench. He's stat sheet stuffer. I think he's relatively safe. Other plays in this price range. I think there are other guys that I definitely do like in this price range. Like, I think I like Jalen Smith. We possibly could have no cat. McDaniels will probably have to play all the minutes he can handle if there's no cat. You have a Tracy Jackson Davis possibly with no Kevon Looney. So you have what else? Kyle Anderson possibly with no cat. So there's a lot of good plays in this, like, not good plays, but there's a lot of potential plays in this, like, 4.5K to 5.2K range. You have Kuminga, who I've always have interest in. So you have Derek Jones Jr. So there's a lot of okay plays in that range. But Josh Hart, relatively safe. Quickly, more your boomer bust play between the two. Minutes wise for him will range from like 21 to like 26 usually. I would say 28 is a bit of an outlier, but does have a ceiling when he's hitting his shots. So always have interest in him for tournaments, especially on slates where we don't have a ton of value. On this slate, we don't have a ton of value either. So I expect quickly he'll probably get a bit of ownership tomorrow. And then Dante, I think I'd much rather just play quickly over him. All right, moving on to the Pacers. So Halliburton's price came down. It's not a good spot going up against the Knicks, but I think he's just too cheap. Double-double pretty much every slate. He's playing huge minutes. He's leading this team, just absolutely doing everything for this team. Pacers should be able to push the pace. So, yeah, I think he's too cheap. So, like Halliburton quite a bit. Miles Turner, not the best spot going up against the Knicks, but as long as he stays out of foul trouble, she'll play low 30s minutes like his ceiling. I would say he's more priced right though. Buddy Hield off the bench has been playing well, but still just a tournament play for me. Coming off the bench, the floor is low as well. If they continue to do that starting lineup of Jalen Smith, Aaron Nesmith, I think Nesmith, minutes of late, who's messing around. Minutes of late have been good in the starting lineup. I will say it's not a guarantee. They can always go with the hot hand there. But yeah, if he continues to play 30, 34 minutes in the starting lineup on this slate with not a ton of value, I think he's fairly okay to solid. So like Naismith, Mathurin more your boom or bust play between the two. I would say he probably has the higher ceiling. So if you want to go for like pure ceiling, it would be Mathurin. Jalen Smith, if he continues to start, I think is a solid value too at 4.9K. Also keep an eye on the Isaiah Jackson news. If he's out, they could just play like more Jalen Smith backup five. They could give Obi Toppin, I guess, some run at backup five as well. Obi Toppin, I think, is in play regardless, but if Isaiah Jackson is out, that could help him. So keep an eye on that. I think that's a little bit important, and I don't know if I skipped anyone. I think that's going to wrap it up for the Pacers. All right, moving on to the Sixers. So once again, the Tyrese Maxey faders finally got punished tonight. Finally. Record the tape. So, Joel Embiid, no Batum. Tyrese Maxey at the top. I really like, once again, he's still too cheap. Really like Tyrese Maxey. Tobias Harris, Anthony Melton, even at this price point, I think are solid plays. Now at their close in price point, I think I do give the edge to Tobias Harris to Anthony Melton, but I still think both are good plays at their price points. Tobias Harris, good rebounder, can stuff his stat sheet. Also, I do want to mention, without Joel Embiid, his potential assists go way up, so he's getting more assists than usual. With Joel Embiid in, he only averages like 4 potential assists per game. With Joel Embiid out, he's averaging close to 7 potential assists per game. So I just thought I'd mention that. His 4+ ceiling just goes way up. So still like Tobias Harris at that price point. D'Anthony Melton I still think is solid. I don't care what happened tonight. I just don't. Just a complete outlier basement game from him. He's going to play huge minutes. He's over a fantasy point per minute guy. So if you give him 37, 38 minutes, he's like 1.1 to 1.2 with Joel Embiid off the court. So you give him 36 minutes at 1.2 fantasy points per minute, he is still going to do fairly decently at this price point. So still high on the Sixers. Oubre Moore, your boomer bust play, hasn't been playing huge minutes of late with Joel Embiid out, but still of interest for tournaments. He'll probably be really low owned. Paul Reed, I believe, got into some early foul trouble tonight. And then they didn't close with him, I want to say. But 5.7K, I still think he's in play. And then Mo Bamba was basically out of the rotation. They played a bit more Marcus Morris. I think Marcus Morris is solid value. He'll be in the rotation regardless. And I guess, especially if both teams want to close small, because the Bulls closed small last game, could help him. So Marcus Morris, solid value. Pat Bev will be in the rotation. Roko will be in the rotation. They're more just darts for me. Moving on to Chicago. So Vooch out, Levine out, Patrick Williams probable, Javon Carter probable. So DeMar DeRozan at the top. I mean, I never get this guy right. I played him every single slate with Levine out, and now we have Vooch out. But I mean, it's hard still not to like him. We know the ceiling's there. We know he's going to play huge minutes, going up against the Sixers. Um, you know, just hasn't been playing well. If ownership's going to drop, so be it. So I still like DeMar, even at 8.5K. Andre Drummond, so he got in a random, I wouldn't say random, but he got in a massive foul trouble last game. And then they closed small. You also saw some Patrick Williams backup 5, pulled the rotation. And we also saw Terry Taylor enter the rotation, I want to say. Where are the Bulls? Saw a little bit of Terry Taylor, and then I want to say Patrick Williams played a bit of 5. But I don't think that'll happen again. I would assume Andre Drummond, as long as he stays out of foul trouble and just doesn't get waxed, should play his normal minutes. He looked gassed out there too. So if we are considering he plays his normal minutes, I still like him. He'll probably be low at 8K after last game. Kobe White, I still think is a good play at 7.8K. Just shot horribly last game. Patrick Williams, I think is solid. Everyone jammed him here. Nobody wanted him here. He smashed. So still have interest in Paul. Alex Cruz is probably your safest of the group. The guy that can stuff the stat sheet. Should play around 30 minutes. I think he's decent for value. And then I would assume who should be in the rotation and play. Probably around 30 minutes. I think he's a reasonable to solid value. Then, like I said, we saw a bit of Terry Taylor in the first half. All right, moving on to the Lakers. LeBron and AD are both questionable. I expect both to go here. Not a good spot going up against the Timberwolves, but AD and LeBron, I think, are fine contrarian spin-ups. I think I'd give the edge to Tyrese Halliburton. I think I like Tyrese Maxey more point per dollar. I'd rather get up to a Luka. So I'd rather play Randall or Brunson at their price points, but still in play. I think they're both always firmly in play, especially on a small slate. Both have insane ceilings, so some interest in AD and LeBron. Reeves is just too pricey. D'Lo's too pricey. Reddish is probable. Keep an eye on what they do with the starting lineup. If they move Reddish back into the starting lineup, or if they want to keep going with a Rui Vanderbilt lineup, keep an eye on that. But Rui I like for value. We don't have a ton of value on the slate. Even with Reddish in, he was playing around 30 minutes a game. So if we continue to get 30 minutes a game from Rui, he's a solid point per minute guy. I do like him, so I don't think him starting or comes off the bench really matters for me. Prince is just okay. I think I'd rather just play Rui, and then Vanderbilt is just fine. He got a lot of blowout run last game. He wasn't on pace to play much, but 4.2K, it's fine in play for value. And if they're both out, then we're gonna load up on the Lakers. Then we're gonna really like Reeves. Then we're gonna really like D'Lo. Then we're gonna really like Rui. Reddish, Prince, firmly in play. Vando, there would just be a ton to like here. Also monitor starting lineup as well, but hard to say right now. All right, moving on to the Timberwolves. Cat is questionable. If he's in, Ant, Cat, I think are both fine. I think they'd be priced right. Rudy Gobert in a tough spot going up against AD would be priced right. Mike Conley would be in play just because it's a small slate. Nas, don't love. McDaniels should play low 30s minutes, reasonable. And then Kyle Anderson will play low 20s minutes, would be another just reasonable value. And then if Cat's out, then I like Ant at the top at 9.2K. He's just going to have to do everything for this team. Like spot going up against the Lakers as well. So would like Ant quite a bit. Rudy Gobert would have to play all the minutes he can handle as long as he stays out of foul trouble. She'll play close to 40 minutes. Mike Conley would be solid at 5.7K. Now that the prices come down, and then McDaniels, he'll have to play all the minutes he can handle. Last game this happened, he played 41 minutes. So yeah, he'd be very, very safe. And then Kyle Anderson started last game with Cat out. Would like him. Stat sheet stuffer, played 29 minutes. Also got into foul trouble as well. I believe it was the Sacramento game, 12-23. It was that game. So Kyle Anderson would look like probably one of the best value plays in the slate if Cat's out and they do start him. So there would be a lot to like here. NAW would probably have to play lower 20s minutes. Would have interest in him for tournaments. So there would be a decent amount to like with Minnesota if Cat's out. All right, last game here, guys. Dallas, Luka questionable, Kyrie doubtful. So if Luka plays, favorite spin up on the slate. It's just hard to fit him. We don't have a ton of value, but would really, really like Luka. Last time Luka played, the starting lineup that they went with, they moved Grant Williams to the bench. They went with Lively, Luka, Derek Jones Jr., Dante Exum, Tim Hardaway Jr. Keep an eye on that and what they do again with that. Like if Grant Williams comes off the bench, probably not going to play him. Exum with Luka back would still be in play, but be priced right. Derek Jones Jr. I think it's just fine, just very, very safe at 5.3K, and then Lively has dealt with a bit of foul trouble of late, would be fine. And then I don't think I'd get too much else here. If Luke is out, once again, keep an eye on the starting lineup. Last game, they went with Jaden Hardy, Dante Exum, Derek Jr., Grant Williams, Derek Lively. If that's the case again, I believe they went with that. What did I say? 12-28. I said that, right? Tim Hardaway Jr. came off the bench. I hope I didn't say he started. It was, yeah. Okay, I said Jaden Hardy, right? So if Hardy starts again, I like him at 5.5K. I do want to say Exum got into a ton of foul trouble, so Jaden Hardy did gain a little bit of minutes from that. But the guy I would like here is Dante Exum, Tim Hardaway Jr. Both floor ceilings just go way up. Exum just got in a random massive foul trouble last game. Good point per minute guy, especially without Luka on the court side. Would like Exum quite a bit. Would like Tim Hardaway Jr.'s ceiling quite a bit as well. Other guys I would like, Jaden Hardy, Derek Jones Jr. would be solid. Grant Williams doesn't really change much, and then Seth Curry I would like for value at 4.2K. Can we talk about this too? Dwight Powell almost went for a triple double. Can we talk about that for just 1 minute? This is fake. It's just fake. It's absolutely fake. All right, Warriors, keep an eye on the Kevon Looney news. If he's out, I would assume Trace Jackson Davis starts for him. If that's the case, I love Trace Jackson Davis. Also, it would help guys like, possibly Kuminga, possibly Wiggins. Also, both these teams do like to play small sometimes, so they can do a number of things. But Steph Curry up at the top, I think, is more of a contrarian play for me. Klay Thompson at 6'2", I think is just there for me, just reasonable. Does have a ceiling when he's hitting his shots. Prices come down, so I actually think I'll get a bit of ownership tomorrow. But Pods is the guy I like once again. She'll play low to mid 30s minutes, stat sheet stuffer. He's still too cheap, so I really like Pods. And then Chris Paul, I like a 5.4K. She'll play high 20s minutes. Another guy that can stuff his stat sheet. I think he's just a bit too cheap. So like Paul, like Pods. Clay's fine. Steph more tournament play for me. Kuminga hasn't played big minutes in the starting lineup, but we do know he does have a ceiling, so I always have interest in him for tournaments. And then keep an eye on Looney. If he plays, minutes haven't been great. Also, Dallas can go small at times. It's just me. Wiggins should play high 20s minutes off the bench. I actually think he's another solid value that I like quite a bit as well. So I like the value here for the Warriors. It's just hard to trust, but it sucks. It sucks. But hope this video helped, and I will talk to y'all in the next one.